When you're ready, we shall leave for Denerim. Excellent. I shall make the arrangements. Let us be off to Denerim, and may the Maker watch over us. Denerim is the heart and soul of Ferelden. It was the city of King Calenhad, the birthplace of Andraste. As stubborn as a Mabari, and as good to have on your side. If we defeat Loghain here, the rest of the nation will follow us. By calling the Landsmeet, I've struck the first blow. The advantage, for the moment, is ours. He will have little choice but to show himself, to oppose us directly. He will strike back at us. The only question that remains is how soon. Loghain, this is an honor that the Regent would find time to greet me personally.
How could I not welcome a man so important as to call every lord in Ferelden away from his estates, while a blight claws at our land?
The blight is why I'm here. With Cailan dead, Ferelden must have a king to lead it against the Darkspawn.
Ferelden has a strong leader. Its queen. And I lead her armies. Ah, the Grey Warden recruit. I thought we might meet again. You have my sympathies on what happened to your order. It is unfortunate that they chose to turn against Ferelden. You should curb your tongue. This is my city, and no safe place to speak treason. For anyone. There is talk that your illness left you feeble, Eamon. Some worry that you may no longer be fit to advise Ferelden.
Illness? Why not call your poison by its true name? Not everyone at the Landsmeet will cast aside their loyalties as easily as you and these sycophants.
How long you've been gone from court, Eamon? Don't you recognize Rendon Howe, Arl of Amaranthine and Terran of Highever?
And current Arl of Denerim, after Urien's unfortunate fate at Ostagar. Truly, it is an embarrassment of riches. You have no rights. Your family surrendered them when I revealed them to be traitors to the king.
You are either very bold or very stupid to threaten the Ten before witnesses.
Enough, Carthrian. This is not the time or place. I had hoped to talk you down from this rash course, Eamon. Our people are frightened. Our king is dead. Our land is under siege. We must be united now if we are to endure this crisis. Your own sister, Queen Rowan, fought tirelessly to see Ferelden restored. Would you see her work destroyed? You divide our nation and weaken our efforts against the Blight, with your selfish ambitions to the throne. I was not talking to you.
I cannot forgive what you've done, Loghain. Perhaps the Maker can, but not I. Our people deserve a king of the Therin bloodline. Alistair will be the one to lead us to victory in this blight.
Oh, is that all I have to do? No pressure.
The Emperor of Orlais also thought I could not bring him down. Expect no more mercy than I showed him. There is nothing I would not do for my homeland.
Well, that was bracing. I didn't expect Loghain to show himself quite so soon. My sister married King Merrick while he was still in exile. At that time, he and Loghain were inseparable. The wild prince who'd never seen the inside of a castle, and the farmer's son. When Loghain joined Merrick's rebels, he was just a raw-boned boy, but he got on one knee to swear that he would see Ferelden free, or die trying. and conspires with a blood mage to poison me. It is a bitter dose to taste. The Chantry speaks truly about the corruption of power. If a man like Loghain could go and do this, I would never have believed he would do anything but what was best for Ferelden. We need eyes and ears in the city. Loghain has been here for months. The roots of all his schemes must begin here. The sooner we find them, the better we can turn them to our advantage. Go have a look around, and see what you can turn up. Better yet, find the nobles who have arrived for the Landsmeet. Test the waters. See how many will support us. When you're ready to talk strategy, come upstairs to my sitting room. We can lay out our plans for the Landsmeet then.
His lordship sends no notice he's coming, and now the house is full of guests. Andraste preserve us, this will be the death of me. His lordship didn't bring Lady Isolde with him. I wonder why.
I have to dust the Earl's sitting room. I'm a chambermaid, sir. I empty chamber pots and change linens. Now and then I dust, just for variety's sake, you understand? I beg your pardon, sir, but I really can't be seen standing about. The housekeeper will have my head. Good day.
If one more servant asks if I would like a change of clothes, I will set the house on fire. Your desire? So,
Ah, Warden. I trust you've made yourself comfortable. Good, because it's likely to be your last rest for a while. This is Elena. She's...
I am Queen Enora's handmaiden. She sent me here to ask for your help.
Or perhaps the young lady prefers to speak for herself.
The Queen, she is in a difficult position. She loved her husband, no? And trusted her father to protect him. When he returns with no king and only dark rumors, what is she to think? She worries, no? But when she tries to speak with him, he does not answer. He tells her not to trouble herself. My queen suspects she cannot trust her father. And Loghain, he is very subtle, no? But Rand and Howe, he is privy to all the secrets and not so subtle. So she goes to Howe. A visit from the Queen to the new Isle of Denerim is only a matter of courtesy, and she demands answers. He calls her every sort of name, traitor being the kindest, and locks her in a guest room. King Kalen was like a son to him, and Loghain left him to die. Does he love Enora more? Who can say? I think her life is in danger. I heard Howe say she would be a greater ally dead than alive, especially if her death could be blamed on Owl Eamon.
We may have no choice but to trust Enora. The Queen is well loved. If Loghain succeeded in pinning her death on me, I'm not sure that's a risk we can afford to take.
I have some uniforms. I'll hire so many new girls every day. A few more will not cause much stir. I will show you to the servants' entrance. We must slip in and out with my queen before anyone is the wiser. I will go ahead to House Estate. Meet me there as soon as you can.
I'm glad you decided to help. With Enora's knowledge, we have a far better chance against Loghain. She and Kaelin were promised as children and practically raised together. She was a smart child, knew how to listen, and how to blink those big blue eyes and get anything she wanted. Her mother's looks, her father's brains, and the best tutoring Merrick's money could buy. It's a potent combination. From Erlena's story, he turned against her first. If he truly intends to sacrifice her, I think it will be strong motivation to break the parental bonds. In any event, I would far rather have the opportunity to ask such things of her than simply hear about her murder. If Honora speaks out against Loghain, hers would indeed be one of the most powerful voices of the Landsmeet. No more easily than without you there. There will be none to see it, save those who are already loyal to Loghain. And given your reputation, Warden, I think Loghain knows it's safer to carry out his plots far from where you can disrupt them. Don't trust either of them. I don't know Honora well, but I know enough to be sure she has her own ambitions in this. But I think, for now, we can be confident that ours overlap. Good luck. I'm glad you decided to help. With Honora's knowledge, we have a far better chance against Loghain.
I haven't been here in a while. They've changed the dining room. Ask away. Of course.
Very well.
This is a nice change from having to sleep in the woods, isn't it? Well, aren't you sweet and attentive? Denerim is Ferelden's most... She is Ferelden's heart. Her...
The servants' entrance is on the other side of the house. We must slip past this crowd to reach it. We will have to be very careful. Al-How is inside. Do you not see the angry workmen there? I think it will be some time before even Randon Howe can use his front door, no? I will be right behind you.
No, Carpenter's Craft Hall has had
This
enough
way.
of Howe's conveniently busy schedule. We will not be put off again. It's been a month since we've seen so much of the coin about stuff. His Lordship is much engaged with the region. He will hear your complaints as soon as he has the time.
You're wasting your breath. No, you can't see tear now. Life
No
is terribly
visitors.
unfair.
Come
Travesty-
back. No entry by order of the town. Someone's creeping around down there. Go check it out.
I can distract the guards, but you must move quickly. More guards patrol every hour. If they find these two missing, they will know... How you say... Something is amiss. I will lure them into the courtyard. Wait in the bushes. Oh, you must come. I saw something. By the fountain. I think it was a darkspawn.
Darkspawn?
They will drag us all underground to be eaten.
Should we call for help?
Did you fall off a cart full of stupid? Call for help? So they can see us act like scared little girls because of some knife-eared wench?
They will eat us all alive. Please get help.
If there is something out there and we don't sound the alarm, we'll look worse than scared.
And drast these holy knickers. Fine, we'll check the courtyard, if it'll keep you from wetting yourself. But there's nothing there.
Thank you. Oh! It was over here! Quickly! Ah, it took me forever to be rid of those two. You are certain you will not wear the disguise? The servants here, they have no love for Hal, but they will be frightened by strangers bursting in. She's in a guest room off the main hall. Andraste, guide us. We must hurry.
Thieves! Brigands in the house!
The Grey Warden is here, my lady.
Thank the Maker. I would greet you properly, but I'm afraid we've had a setback. How am I supposed to answer that? Shall I try to shove my crown under the door? Do you think the royal family has a secret knock? My host was not content with leaving me under heavy guard. He sealed the door by magic.
I did not know. There were only guards here when I left. We must get her out of there.
Don't panic, Elena. Find the mage who cast the spell. He'll most likely be at Hal's side. Thank you, Warden. My prayers go with you.
Count Hal will probably be in his rooms. They're at the end of the hall, on the left.
What? Who goes there?
I thank you for creating such distraction, stranger. I have been waiting days for the opportunity. Do you think you could... Alistair? Is that you?
Who? Wait. I do know you. You were at my joining. He's one of us. A warden from Orlais. Jada, I think. Or was it Montserrat? I'm afraid I don't remember your name.
I'm Riordan, senior warden of Jada, but born and bred in Highever, and glad to be home. With an offer of hospitality and a poisoned chalice. I was fool enough to think Loghain didn't yet know who I was. I saw him going to the dungeons. He may still be there. For the most part, attempting to hold my tongue. I was sent when we received no word from King Caelan as to the outcome at Ostagar. The king had invited all the wardens of Orlais and their support troops to join him. Then nothing. We had 200 wardens and 24 divisions of cavalry. The first we heard of Loghain's edict was when everyone was turned back at the border. That was when the rumor reached us that wardens were being blamed for the massacre. We finally decided it was safest to send someone alone to learn how best to fight the Blight and this regime simultaneously. As a native Ferelden, I volunteered to make the crossing. Yes, these are my records. The names of the dead I could recognize at Ostagar. What I could find of Duncan's own recruitment records. Copies of the joining ritual I rescued from our Denerim vault. Those should never be seen by any outside eyes, but I trust in their encryption. Would that I could, for Ferelden sorely needs them. But for the joining to work, the recruit needs not only fresh Darkspawn blood, but a drop of blood preserved from an archdemon. Ferelden's supply should have been in the vault, but it was gone. I can only imagine someone took it out and Loghain either confiscated or destroyed it. As you know, the joining's chance of success is slim anyway. Loghain has done far worse to the Wardens than cut us off from recruiting. And from the rumors flying through Denerim, removing him from the throne is already your plan, no? It seems to me the first order of business is to leave this place. It will do neither of us good to be caught at the site of a massacre.
We've been staying with our Leman at his estate. If you need a place to stay, I'm sure he'd make you welcome.
At our Leman's, then. And good luck, brother.
Well, well. Bryce Cousland's little boy, all grown up, and still trying to fit into Daddy's armor. I never thought you'd be fool enough to turn up here. And then, I never thought you'd live, either. A clumsy appeal, child. He was a traitor to me and a coward to his nation. Trips to Orlais, gifts from old enemies, all while I sank in obscurity. Your family squandered glory that was rightfully mine. How suitable that their deaths should raise me to the ear of a king. If you think you can take this from me, that I will allow it, you are very much mistaken.
Quickly, we must fight!
Make her spit on you. I deserved more.
My thanks. My thanks. Because there are two sorts of people in this house. Those loyal to Hal, and those loyal to me. If Hal's people find me, I'll be killed. And my people will insist on escorting me back to the palace, where my father may also have me killed. Shh! You'll draw attention to us.
Let us go quickly, Walden. I do not think we wish to be here when they discover what has happened.
Warden, in the name of the Regent, I am placing you under arrest for the murder of Rendon Howe and his men-at-arms. Surrender, and you may be shown mercy. Don't be ridiculous. The Queen isn't being held prisoner here or anywhere else. Her father would never stand for such a thing. Unlike you, some of us know what honor and loyalty are. I have no doubts about Loghain. Bring them down! Loghain wants the Warden, dead or alive.
More enemies ahead.
Maker's breath. It's good to see you in one piece, my friend.
Sir Catherine's death is a waste, truly. But I suppose it could not be helped. I was uncertain you would respond as you did, considering the consequences. I am glad you did. Thank you. Now, however, we must work together, and quickly. My father has gone mad. I didn't believe it at first, but he is gripped by a paranoia so severe it prevents him from seeing sense. He saw me as a threat, yet even now I'm certain he will be telling the nobles you are dangerous murderers that have kidnapped and mind-controlled me. He may even believe it. Perhaps. It will be more difficult for him, but if my father says the Grey Wardens are the enemy, many will believe it. He is a legend.
It's true. Our position in the Landsmeet is not strong, and this does little to help us.
At least that snake Howe is dead. That alone will not be enough, however. My father is committed to his path. You will need ammunition for the Landsmeet, and there I can help. You have only just arrived in the city, so perhaps you are unaware of some recent events. Denerim has been in turmoil since Ostagar. Many people here are angry or grieving. Strangely, the unrest is worst in the alienage. Few elves accompanied the army. They should have little reason to be upset, which means that Howe and my father must have given them reason. I don't know what is happening there, but I am certain my father has his hands in it.
A useful lead, Honora, but you could have sent this information with your maid.
That is true. I feared for my safety as Howe's prisoner. But to tell the truth, I sent Elena to you because I hoped we might join forces. You need that evidence for the Landsmeet, but you also need a stronger candidate for the throne. You need me. I have no doubt Alistair is biddable enough, and decent, but even with his blood, he is no king. You think only I can see it? Not only that, Alistair is a Grey Warden. It will look like you are trying to put a Grey Warden on the throne, despite your claims. I am a neutral party, and I am already queen.
Honora, you are indeed Kaelin's widow, but...
I am the daughter of Ferelden's greatest general. Who do you think truly ruled this nation for the last 5 years? Kaelin. I am what this country needs, not an untrained king who does not even want the throne. I can help you stop my father. Consider what I have said. For now, I think I will retire to my room. Warden, when you have a moment, I ask that you speak to me in private.
Well, she's quite spirited. I remember when Loghain first brought her to Denerim. Poor Kaelin was a good boy, but Honora was always 2 steps ahead. Had him jumping when she snapped since the first time she batted her eyelashes. I cannot help thinking she may be trouble, but we should keep her close, all the same. This is an alliance of convenience. For the moment, we are united against Loghain. Be careful how much trust you place in her. I do not for a moment think Honora means to give up her power easily. Still, I would rather have her where we can watch her than actively working for Loghain. Are you thinking you might stand a chance at courtship? It would be unseemly for her to marry so soon after Kaelin's death. She wouldn't take that risk unless it helps her secure the throne. Honora was a capable administrator for Kaelin's lands, but she has not a drop of royal blood. We did not fight the Orlesians all those years just to lose our royal line in a single generation. Not when there's a surviving son of the blood.
Are you serious? No, never mind. I don't even want to hear the rest of this. You two just keep talking about me. I'm gonna stand over here with my fingers in my ears.
That would certainly solve a lot of problems, and put forth the strongest argument before the Landsmeet to remove Loghain from power. With Therin blood on the throne, and Honora's wisdom and popularity, Ferelden could present the most united front against the Blight. Unfortunately, the marriage would never happen, unless they both agreed to it. And I suspect that might take a lot of persuading to get past her pride and his humility. Ferelden was first united by Calenhad, the Silver Knight. For 400 years, his descendants have ruled Ferelden. That was the heritage we preserved from the Orlesians. And it is the heritage I will fight for as long as one of Calenhad's descendants still lives. Without that to unite us, we could scatter back to warring Terniers.
No, I don't, which I've told both of you on many occasions. If Honora's turned against Loghain, I say let her keep the crown. It looks better on her anyway.
You're both wrong. With a few months of experience, Alistair will make a fine king. He knows how to lead troops to defend his land. He knows how to stand and fight for justice. He knows how to show compassion to those less fortunate, and how to trust to the Maker's guidance to know right from wrong. And he knows who to turn to for aid, should that training fail him. He will be fine. We certainly have a great deal to plan. Maker knows what that man is capable of now. Of course, if I might make a suggestion, go speak with Honora. She will either be a powerful ally or a powerful enemy, and the sooner we know which she is, the better. Warden, let me know if there's any assistance I can give you. We need to do all...
I haven't been here in a while. They've changed the dining room. Ask away. Of course. I haven't... Ask away.
Hello again, Warden. It is good that you came to speak with me. First, let me say that I knew your family. Eleanor, in particular, was dear to me, and what Hal did was unforgivable. How fitting he died at your hands. I will be blunt. I can see that your voice will be a strong one in days to come. It is to you that Eamon listens, and with good reason. My father must be stopped, but once that is done, Ferelden will need a ruler. I would welcome your support for my throne. That is exactly what I am proposing. When the time comes, you support my bid in the Landsmeet to remain on the throne. You will be seen as my father's enemy, yet you will be in support of his daughter. You will be seen as supporting the interests of Ferelden, as opposed to solely those of the Grey Wardens. In return, I add my voice to yours. Do you see? Together we can do what alone we cannot. He is my father, as well as a great general, who has served his nation well until now. If there is a way for him to live, I would prefer it. I will always be my father's daughter, but even I know he must pay for his crimes. It will not make me glad, even so. Does that affect your decision? Can we yet come to an arrangement? Ignoring that the man looks so much like Kalen, my recently dead husband, if you'll recall, my main fear is that he might govern like Kalen as well. But it is true that Alistair has Theron blood. To some, this is more important even than practical considerations. A union might be considered a compromise, but is this something Alistair even desires? Let me say this. If Alistair is willing to stand back and allow me to continue governing the nation, then I would be willing to have him as my king. It is my understanding that governing does not appeal to him anyhow. If that is so, this is a compromise I can live with. Do so. I will be interested to hear what he has to say.
So I'm guessing someone told Honora I was planning to steal her throne. She has a nasty glare. She wants to be queen. I get it. I don't trust her any more than her father, but I get it. They say that Honora is smart, determined. She's supposedly the one who's really ruled here, not Kalen. She's her father's daughter. Me? I say that's where the problem lies. People like her and her father always think they're the only ones who can fix things. So everyone should just stay out of their way. What do you think? When the Landsmeet comes, you might even have a say. Marry her. As in marriage, as in be her husband. You've spoken to her about this? You did, didn't you? I can't say I like the idea at all. Why should I even consider something like this? You might have something there. All right. You've convinced me. If it comes to that, I'll agree to marry her. Make her help us all. Go and tell her, if you think it's a good idea. Me? I think I need a drink. Or 10. I haven't been here in a while. They've changed the dining room. Ask away. Of course.
Warden, let me know if there's any assistance.
Well, have you spoken to my lucky betrothed yet? Or will we be reduced to passing notes? He has? I wasn't expecting that, to tell you the truth. To marry Kalen's brother. Well, I suppose stranger things have happened. If it will truly help matters... Is this it then? I agree to marry Alistair to retain my throne, and in exchange I give you my support. If not, then tell me now. Done. So, we have a deal, Warden. I trust you'll keep your end of the bargain. Now, I suppose, comes the task of dealing with my father. That will be no small feat, of course, but I am certain you already know this. I imagine you have much to do. Is there anything else you needed from me? Ask me whatever you like. Of course it does. Do you think me heartless? But how much worse would I be to calmly stay at the side of a man who murdered my husband? It seems a strange word to describe a marriage our parents arranged when he was newly born and I still in swaddling clothes, but yes, I loved him. He was reckless, impetuous, and charming. Had he not been king, he would have made a dashing rogue for a band of players. We were a good pairing. He would not have wanted the burden of ruling any more than I would have liked to remain the silent wife in my husband's shadow. Kalen was so idealistic. The world was his storybook, and he was the hero. My father is different. He's an idealist too, but he knows what idealism costs. They often clashed, but never seriously, never for long. Caelan would always come round to Father's way of thinking eventually. And then the Blight came. Caelan dreamed of uniting all the nations of Thedas against the Darkspawn. It was a dream he wouldn't surrender. What my father saw, however, was the boy he had swaddled inviting Orlesian troops back into the land he had fought to free of them. And for once, my poor, foolish husband wouldn't back down. They would not believe it, most of them, even from my lips. Loghain is the hero they've looked up to their whole lives. Far easier to believe you or me a liar than him a murderer and tyrant. That's why it will be critical to find some way to discredit him before the Landsmeet. We must have proof of my father's crimes for the bands, or they will never believe us. It was more than just my own loss, but I thank you all the same. Ask me whatever you like. Do you want me to try my luck at fortune-telling? There was an old woman who read palms in the village of Gwarren when I was a child. She told me that I would have 10 children and be bald as a winter heath when I grew up. I can't say I put much faith in foretelling. What will happen depends much on you, Warden. But you certainly knew that already. Ah, well, he was once a farmer when he was a boy, if you can believe it. I never could myself. He's useless with plants, for one thing. I remember my mother once asking his help with a sick rose vine. My mother oversaw the rose gardens personally. He touched it. No more than that. And it shed half its leaves like a dog with mange. She never asked for him to help with her roses again. He bought her another one, though. He carried it back from Denerim with the branches overflowing his saddlebag. Despite the thorns tearing him bloody, he wouldn't let anyone else take it. He wanted to be the one to present it to her. My father has his faults, Warden, but he is far from common. I hope not, but I fear it is so, yes. Because he believes he is right, Warden. He thinks he is the only one who can see Ferelden out of its current crisis, even if it is one he helped engineer. My father is capable of remarkable blindness, but it stems from his love of Ferelden. That is the saddest part of all, I think. Trust would perhaps be putting it too strongly. My father knew what How was, and while I despised the man, I knew that father relied on his political mind. I expect my father thought himself above being influenced by the snake. Truly, I wonder how many of these acts stem from How and not my father at all. We may never know. I'm not sure. I had no inkling of my father's plans until Caelan was already dead. I would like to think that my father planned for the worst, but did not truly decide that Caelan was a lost cause until that moment in Ostagar. The alternative is difficult to imagine. Ask me whatever you like. Then I wish you luck, Warden. I have spoken with Alistair. Perhaps this mad betrothal won't be quite the curse it first seemed. No. And while I know your concern is hardly disinterested, still, thank you. Ask me whatever you like. Then I wish you luck, Warden. You return. Then I wish...
I haven't been here in a while. Ask away. Of course.
Warden, let me know if there's any assistance I can give you. My hearing must be going. I could swear you just said that Alistair and Honora agreed to marry. Of course, but I hardly imagined that you could convince her so readily. I am impressed. This alliance can only help us. Well done, my friend. We need to do all that we can in the few days left to us before the Landsmeet.
I'm glad you made it safely away. I hear House Death has already brought no small amount of cheer to the city. It's located just off the Market District in the northern alley past the Nord Noble Tavern. I'll sketch out the code which will let you pass the lock wheel. Inside you can take your pick of whatever equipment remains. It is the stockpile the Wardens have kept for centuries. We went through our joining together, more years ago than I like to remember. I think he understood sooner than the rest of us how ugly a choice it is to let the few be sacrificed to protect the many. Always left himself a soft spot for his recruits, though. Only way he ever let himself down. Well, I'd be happy to tell you what I know, but it seems to me that you've picked the important parts up yourself. Be firm in your beliefs, protect people from their own ignorance, and be as loyal as you can to your brothers, even knowing you'll share their deaths. It's tough to say. Only the fortress in Weishaupt has every record, but there are certainly a few dozen or hundreds in every nation in Thedas. The Anderfells are home to over 1,000. It's almost like the Archdemon chose Ferelden deliberately, knowing how unguarded it is. Once only, and I'd rather not go again. It's far, lad, and very foreign. The Wardens there, they fight Darkspawn like you and me, but they're shaped by the winters there in the forest. They're a cold group and don't care like they should about the rest of the world. Their king is weak, and many Anders look to the Wardens to rule. I hate to say this, but some of them seem to want it that way. It was near 1,200 years ago, and no one knows for sure, except that it began with a group of Anders soldiers. Apparently, they defected from their king's army, vowing that fighting the Blight was more important, and traveled all the way to Tevinter themselves. They were the first ones to track down the Archdemon Dumat, and the ones to slay him, though none survived the battle. But they had picked up followers by then, and it was they who formally founded the Order, and were recognized by Thedas. Archdemons don't awaken on their own, you know. It takes the Darkspawn, tunneling and tunneling, searching for centuries to find one. And with no one to lead them, it must be sheer chance, or maybe instinct, which leads them. What's surprising isn't that it takes so long between blights. What's surprising is that they succeed at all. But I imagine the old gods call to them, and it's that voice in the darkness which drives them through so many generations. The important thing to remember is, none of that matters. When you're facing Darkspawn, all you need to know is to stop them at